So as someone who's grown up in Southern California my entire life, these fires definitely hit close to home. And if you weren't aware, if you didn't hear, Southern California to be exact, faced one of the worst fires probably in California history or U.S. history. We don't really know yet because, to be honest, at the recording of the video, it's still going on. We still haven't contained a lot of the fires, specifically two. There was one fire in the Palisades and then another fire in Altadena, and it's not over yet. We still don't have a casualty count. According to this video, we have 16, the death toll being 16, and there's probably going to be more. This is going to end up being probably the costliest fire just because of inflation. It's a very unfortunate event. Now, historically, like I said, I've lived in California my entire life. Fires just happen here. They just happen here naturally, and they've been happening here for thousands and thousands of years. There are plants that have adapted to just knowing that there will eventually be a fire. It's wild. So fires just generally happen here. And like I said at the very beginning, because I've grown up in California, I've lived here my entire life. Looking back into the past when I was a kid, like fires were just kind of things that happened here in LA. I can remember multiple instances where I was a kid, I was very active. So whether it was me playing sports, I played football growing up, or just doing PE class, I remember multiple times every few years where we weren't allowed to play outside because of all the ash that was coming down. I remember being like 12 years old and like exiting out, looking like in my backyard, looking up at the sky, and it looked like literally hell was raining down. Like the sky was red, and just a ton of ash would fall through just fall into the backyard. In my old apartment building, it's like there was ash literally like lined on the bottom of the window seals because ash would just fall into my apartment if I left the windows open. Like at the recording of this video, we still haven't even contained some of these really horrific fires, and part of the reason is we just had the perfect storm of factors that really caused this fire to be absolutely out of control. I'm hearing the statement that's getting thrown around is that the fire was spreading the first night at a rate of 5 football fields a minute. And if you look at the videos, any of the videos, you can see how that could be possible. I mean, this was the first time I really got to see the scale at which how dangerous fires can be and how fast they can explode. Basically, they literally do kind of explode. I mean, I've seen videos of like. So, fun fact: I did consider being a firefighter for like a small moment of my life, maybe when I was like 19 or 20 or something like that. But I remember looking up videos of like it is extremely dangerous. You can very easily find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the fire just engulfs you, and you can't do anything. If the winds change and it blows the fire towards you, boom, you're done. If you can't escape, everything around you, like an entire football field, is just lit up. And then boom, you're donezo. So it is a extremely scary thing. But watching the videos, I started realizing, those people. Luckily, a lot of people escaped, but unfortunately, a lot of people didn't. I mean, we're still counting the casualties. We still don't know. It could be as high as like 85 because there's still a lot of missing people, which is really not good. Obviously, it's not good, but I mean, like that means that it's going to, if they're missing, that's a very sad, reality that they probably did pass if we still haven't found them days later. And the Santa Ana winds are kicking up today. But again, so I've grown up with this, but I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen literally an entire city just got wiped out overnight. And it's kind of hard to believe because, growing up, I think everyone in California is forced to learn about like the San Francisco fires in the early 1900s. And you look back at that and you kind of think, is it back then we weren't really as technologically sound, or we weren't doing all the protocols. We weren't, you kind of think like something like that could never repeat. But then you have moments like this and you realize, Mother Nature is still extremely powerful. And more importantly, we as humans are still making massive mistakes. And that's a whole nother topic. I don't think this topic was, it was kind of, obviously the rest of the state and the rest of the country was able to talk about this a little bit earlier. I felt I couldn't talk about it was hard to talk politics early on when this was still, it's still affecting people, but immediately it seemed like the rest of the nation was quick to politicize it. I think now a little bit more of the actual LA region is starting to ask themselves some of this stuff. And was there some human error? To me, kind of seems like there was. Kind of seems like there wasn't enough control. There's like some things called controlled burning. Why wasn't there more of that? Seems like, I'm still trying to figure out it. First of all, it seems partly due to negligence, but also partly due to, I haven't really decided yet what I really think, but some of it just feels like this was going to happen. But also, I think that's not a great idea to just blame it 100% on, this is just nature. This was going to happen no matter what. There's nothing we could do about it. That's like, when like a plane crashes and we just, which they never do that. But when a plane crashes, just like everyone looking at each other and just like, well, there's nothing we could do about it. It's like the tail wing just like, I don't know, exploded off the plane and, obviously went down or whatever like that. When they do aviation accidents, when they do aviation investigations for a crash, even if the situation was like really tough and it's hard to have figured out how that situation could have changed, they still will implement things and try to do new policies, new regulations to avoid that sort of thing. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I study way too much about like aviation disasters, and I find it fascinating the amount of research and investigation that goes into every single disaster and the new rules and protocols and regulations, like I said, that then become like an industry standard to make sure that disaster never occurs again. So in this case, I still think that we need to, look at some of the things we've been doing to try to avoid this, because saying that it was inevitable is just, I don't think that's an answer. I don't think it's a proper answer. But yeah, it does feel like to me was California putting people in positions of power that weren't necessarily qualified. Well, yeah, that's clearly, California's been doing that for a minute. It's just getting more and more widespread. So that's an aspect of it, certainly. Like I said, the burning, how much controlled burning was really going on. Obviously the mayor, everyone's talking about how the mayor was slashing the fire budget, when it's like, come on, that fire is a very big issue here. It's literally a part of the land, but way before we were here, there were fires in California. When all humans are gone, there's going to continue to be fires in California. Come on, you got to know that's going to be something that occurs. Then the whole nother topic is the State Farm and all the insurance companies that are leaving. Fun fact, not even fun, but I always like to look at real estate and look at like rental properties or just like, home properties in the area. I just like to kind of generally look at that stuff. I'm looking this morning and yeah, those prices are beginning to skyrocket. I was looking like a week ago and now I'm looking also today. And yeah, everything's being bumped up because, 100,000 properties were now no longer exist. So everyone's trying to move. This is going to create such a massive domino effect that I don't think we can properly. It's like COVID. When COVID first occurred, I remember trying to think like how much of the world was going to be affected by this within like the first 2 weeks. I remember writing down in a notebook, like trying to figure out, how massive of an impact. But even looking back at that time, man, I still had no idea. I mean, looking at the world in 2025, it's like we were entirely shaped by COVID. So much changed because of COVID. I think this could be that same event here for us in California too. So much is going to change for our state now, specifically LA. I mean, how many people just straight up move out of LA? What happens to the already just terrible rental market and real estate prices? They're going to have to rebuild. Also, keep in mind, we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. The Olympics coming specifically to the LA, but the World Cup as well is going to be a thing. So this is just a complete mess. It's really unfortunate because I feel very closely tied to LA. I've had like the last 3 years where I've really considered moving, possibly leaving the state. And I find it really difficult to do. I love traveling, and I like traveling to places for a long time, but for a permanent relocation, I don't know if I could do it because I do still love Southern California, even though I always complain, and I do think that we do a lot of dumb things here. I think we do just so many dumb things. There's just, I bring them up all the time in my videos. It is, now to be honest, I gotta say that I do think a lot of states and countries do dumb things, but there's a lot of eyes and attention on California. So when we do a dumb thing, that thing spreads unfortunately, like wildfire. I don't know how else to explain it. Like it really spreads very fast every time there's a dumb law. I do think that we do some policy stuff that doesn't make any sense, especially us. But I also realize that a lot of other states do some dumb things as well, and they get a lot less attention, so they fly under the radar. But I still find it hard to move from here. I still love Southern California. The weather here is so nice. I feel like this is my home. I mean, this is where pretty much everyone this is all my connections. They've been built here. So that's the thing. And that's a whole nother aspect is maybe California does a lot of dumb things because they know they can get away with it. I think that's part of it. They can introduce the most ludicrous laws, and they know people will just not leave here. I mean, yeah, people are leaving. I mean, we had, for the first time in a while, votes taken away from California because the state has overall lost a lot of people. A lot of Californians have moved to Nevada. They moved to Texas. They've moved to Arizona, Florida. But still, that's still not enough for California to want to. I think they can get away with doing a lot of crazy policy changes because they know that people just will not leave here. I don't know what the solution is, to be honest. I mean, this probably doesn't help, but I really feel like our state is probably too big. I mean, we're basically the size of Canada, a little bit smaller, by population. So I still feel like maybe splitting up Northern California and Southern California to two different jurisdictions, two different states would be an interesting idea. I don't really think that changes much, but it does. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how you fix this. Kind of a sad moment. But the thing is, the fires will happen again one day, especially because, part of the reason, I forgot to mention, we had a lot of rain 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I remember driving up PCH and seeing PCH look more green than I've ever seen before. And I remember seeing satellite maps of California, from 5 years ago to maybe 2023. Was that when we got all those rains? And the green had just exploded throughout the state. But now, we've had a lot less rain as of the last year. And a lot of that green turned into just dry, dead plants. So it was like a tinderbox ready to explode. And it's unfortunate. There had to have been people sounding the alarms that we are due for a massive fire. I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, this is just my own 2 cents from a Southern California myself. I grew up in Southern LA, but still, I don't know. What a mess. Anyways, my own 2 cents. See ya.